Are y'all there? Are you guys there? Well, welcome
Okay,
to
there we go.
so.
Oh
There you
God.
go. There you
Okay, hold
guys
on.
are.
What can we hear?
Still can't hear anything.
Jesus.
Hold on one second. Having some technical difficulties over here.
It's okay, man. I'll just
You
say
turn your
sweet
radio down.
introductions real quick. So this is Sober
I don't know how
Patrol.
to get the sound back.
I can hear y'all.
Okay, we got you now.
You were, yeah, we couldn't find you.
Yeah, literally, it hit like 1 second, and I got a phone call.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to Sober Patrol, guys. This
Hey, what's up? How you
what's
doing?
up? I'm Kat. I'm the host of Sober Patrol. My this is Staying Sober in Unity, and
Yeah.
it's Too Fluent, Vino, and Product
What's
from
up?
Too Fluent. And what did you say? They're hip hop.
Uh, aspiring R&B and hip hop duo.
What he said?
That's it.
That works.
That's it.
Word.
We
So
got
I
a whole
met.
we got a whole like mission statement that he did. He put
Yeah,
together. Why don't you kick
had
it real quick?
yeah. It
Let's
is.
hear it, man.
It's
Let's hear it.
it's inspiring a generation through authentic sound and spirit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right
man.
on, bro. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. So
It's cool. It's cool to be able to stand on whatever we say. Like nowadays, our word is worth something. You know what I mean? You remember back in the
right.
day when you'd say something and it's like it
Yes.
held no weight whatsoever because you never
Right.
come through on what you say. So like it's cool to say that and actually be inspiring a generation
100%.
through sound and spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wrote that?
Somebody.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah.
So like, how did you get the name Too Fluent? Like, how did you come up with that?
I thought of the entire thing by myself at the house.
It
You
was
should really
actually our
put your arm
first.
back around him.
It was our yeah. It was our first song we ever recorded together, which is cool. We didn't have a name yet. It was just Bino and Product messing around making some music, and we wrote the song "Changed Up." And
Okay.
in the song, one of my lyrics was it was like too fluent with the code, man. I'm chilled to the bone.
Yep.
And we were like, yo, we're going over all these names. Like, I wish I remembered some of the ones we were gonna work.
I'm
We were
glad we
thinking
don't. There
about.
were so many different ideas. Everybody's like, call yourself this, call yourself this, call yourself this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no,
And
no.
then how did
I don't
the too
know.
fluent
That's so
happen?
catchy. It's so catchy. Like Too Fluent. Like
Well,
something you don't forget.
Yeah.
he had the lyric, and I was thinking at the very beginning, I was like, what about just the word fluent? Like, that's smooth, it's different. And but then I think that there's another artist out there with that name, which it doesn't matter. A lot of different artists call themselves the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then there's two of us. So he said, why don't we call it Too Fluent? And
Yeah.
and then now when people hear it, it's just like there's no other Too Fluent in the world. You can look it up on Apple Music, any
That's
kind of
awesome.
whatever. There's no other Too Fluent in the world.
Yeah.
Now
So
there is. Now they're
Hello.
copying you.
How you
yeah,
doing?
yeah,
That's right. So I met you guys at Sober October here in Ravenna, Ohio. And
yeah.
y'all are
cool
from
event.
Akron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Akron. Okay. So I'm originally from Texas. So this is really,
Really?
really yeah, I'm from Texas. I was born and raised there, grew up there. So things
This
are a lot different here.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot more sickness up here. That's pretty much it.
Well, not just that, but they said when you come to Ohio for vacation, you leave on probation, and that was correct.
Flat out. Or you're just
Well,
born
that
here and
was
you're in
my
prison
story.
a lot.
Wow.
I
In my
literally have a
case.
speaker that says "stuck in Ohio." I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird too because there's a lot of people, like as weird as it sounds, that like friends of mine from high school or along the way that have left Ohio, left Akron, and gone to like cool places, and they always end up coming back here for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
not a bad place, though.
there's
It's
something
really
about
not.
Akron. It has a cool
I
spirit to
feel
it.
like right now I'm a little bit biased because over the last 2 weeks I had the flu.
Oh my God, he's been out the game.
and it has been just like COVID doesn't have anything on the flu. The flu is the absolute. It's the OG. It is the worst. I've never been so sick in my life.
I don't know, bro. I had COVID and I was down for like 2 weeks last
I
time I
had
had it.
COVID twice over
Oh
the last
man,
couple of years, and I kicked it both times. But the flu,
yeah.
I had
nothing.
COVID. Listen, I had COVID in mid addiction. Me and my ex at the time, her family lives in New Orleans. So we were going on a trip to New Orleans, you know what I mean? And like a good drug addict, we got a bunch of drugs because we did the kind that we can talk about drugs on here, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'm pretty
So,
sure.
so yeah,
This is
being
raw,
that
uncut, whatever you got. So
all right,
yeah,
well, being that our addiction was of the opiate kind, like you cannot go without it. You just it's not an option,
yeah.
you know,
I've
which
been
is
there.
yeah. So we thought we took enough, like per usual. You always think you do, but then like it ran out, so we had to do some pretty sketchy things in the Bourbon Street down in New Orleans, where it's pretty crazy.
I can imagine
I've been
you.
there.
I can
I can.
imagine
But
you now down there doing that.
it was
It blows
wild.
my mind.
It was wild, dude. But then like I caught some form of New Orleans COVID. It was a hybrid of
Oh yes,
COVID and
Southern.
just dirtiness. You know what I mean?
Yikes.
And I came and
Down
like
there by the Gulf, so like
yeah,
it's
it was
really
wild. And
dirty
so
down there.
that COVID sat me down like the whole way home. I'm pretty sure I was hallucinating and sweating to death. And then we
Oh
got
gosh.
home and I was down, but that was my COVID experience. I caught like the New Orleans vibe kind, you know?
It's got to be different.
Still different,
So
yeah.
so tell me a little bit about what led you to addiction, like one at a time or both or
There you go.
Um what led me to addiction, it actually started, I've heard a lot of stories like this, but it started legally. It started innocently. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have probably the addiction. I have the addiction gene or whatever they say, you're born with it or whatever, because I drank very heavy. I was always different, you know, at a party with kids your age in high school or whatever. Most people are drinking, have a good
right?
time. Like I am the last one up every time, drinking until it's all gone,
Jumping off the
poking people
roof.
like get up, yeah, jumping off roofs and just setting things on fire. And if I was not of the same.
Arson.
Whoa, that was not allegedly.
Hey, you're past statute of
Allegedly.
limitations. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, but
Allegedly
then like
product.
it was just like partying, like you know what I mean, having a good
Yeah.
time. And then I played sports. That was my outlet, if you will, with sports. And so I was always like an athlete. I pictured drugs as like heroin. That was some dude under a bridge, homeless, you know, just the picture of it was crazy to me. Never me, not me. I smoke
Right.
weed and drink
Been there.
occasionally. I got in a car accident and the doctor gave me Percocet. Now at the time,
Yeah.
if he'd have been like, yo, here, I'm going to give you these pills that you may or may not need. And there's a chance if you take these, it will completely derail and screw up the next 20 years of your life, bud. So here you go. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I'll thug it out without the pain meds, you know?
Yeah.
But it
Right.
was 2001, 2002 before it was an epidemic. You know what I mean? It wasn't a thing, you know? And so I started taking them and then it just, you know, it took off. Like, the
So the
next thing you know,
pills
I'm
like
crossing.
led you to the heroin.
Yeah, next thing you know, I'm crossing every line that I said I would never cross. Like I'm never gonna
Right.
do heroin. I just do
Right.
pills. Then it's oxycontins. Well, it's it's the medicated heroin, never heroin. Then I start doing heroin. I'm like, well, I'll never shoot up. You'll never catch me doing that. Now I'm shooting up, and I'm slowly, I'll never rob somebody. I'll never steal from my family. But a line gets crossed until there's like you look around and there's no more lines to cross. You're just a piece of shit,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
And
I
so
was
that's
I was
it.
talking to somebody about that same thing today, like, how they felt about like a functioning addict and a full blown addict. That
Yeah.
you don't just start out as a full blown addict. You gradually get there.
Yeah, I got
Sometimes
standards, you know?
slowly, sometimes slowly. Yeah. Like for me, I was addicted to pills. I got injured on the job in 2007, and like I do welding and I'm a piping engineer and stuff like that. So
That's dope.
I got hurt on the job. I've lost my career in the last 5 years because of drugs. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like mine, it
I
started
didn't
from an
do
injury.
heroin. I didn't do heroin, but I was addicted to pills from 2007 to 2009,
Same
and
demon.
it was the worst. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The next
Yeah.
step for me was going to be heroin. that I had
Right.
my kids and things like that. And I thank God every day that I didn't do it. But even doing the meth, I was around it. But
Hmm.
I was like, I know what it took for me to get off of that. The methadone, which I almost burned my house down,
Oh,
fell
dude,
asleep in an intersection, things like that. It was disgusting,
you went the
and
methadone route too?
went the methadone route, almost
Yeah.
burned my house down smoking cigarettes in my bed. And then,
Sound like
you
Lewis.
know, it was
Yeah. Do you
it was
remember the
bad.
burn holes? You had burn holes in all of my clothing. There was,
Yes.
cigarette burn holes where you'd knot out with
My
the drugs. You'd knot out and you'd come to, and then so you tell whoever, or like when I did Oxycontins back in those days, you'd lift the bottom of your shirt up, like real talk, and there'd be the coating because you put the pill in your mouth and you rub the coating off to break it down. So all of my shirts had like a colorful assortment of things on the underside of it, and then I had burn holes on all of my pants. But I'm not using it; just I was tired. I
Wow.
was
Yeah,
tired. Yeah.
noodle grooving. Is that the term they call it when they're doing this? Is that what they call it? Noodle
What?
grooving. Noodle grooving. When somebody.
Noodle grooving?
I've
Yeah.
never heard that.
I
I
got a good visual of what I think that's like, but I've never heard that. That's dope.
I well, there was somebody like going like this in the behind the Little Caesars. I was literally in rehab when I saw
Oh,
this, and we were walking by, and they're like, "Yeah, he's over there noodle grooving," and
that's
I'm like,
terrible. That
That's
almost
new.
makes it sound fun. Like, dude, you ready to noodle groove
Oh,
tonight?
that is
I think of
bad.
one of
It's
those
bad,
like
bad.
those blow up things that
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
blue
in
blue
front of the
blue
mattress
man. Yeah,
Who you doing?
places.
I don't know. I just think of that.
No, and we thought too. We thought we were playing it cool. You know what I mean? Don't
Right.
nobody knows what I'm doing, but I'm over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing the whole, and now it sucks. It's almost sad because like I'm an
It is.
empath. I feel energy on such an intense level that it's
Yes.
like my gift and it's a curse at the same time because like I can feel so bad, like I want to help people so bad, and I can tell. But now being sober, I see people that are in active addiction that are stuck
Yeah.
on like that opiate devil, and I'm almost like, damn,
It's
please,
almost like looking at yourself. Like that's what
yeah, like
happens to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I looked like. Like,
it's
man,
misery. It's like glowing misery off of someone. You know what I mean?
yes, and it's so sad.
I just want to
Someone
help.
dies
I just want to
every
help.
11 minutes from fentanyl.
Wow,
11 minutes every 11 minutes, and that is just sad.
that's crazy.
That's why we want to do this for real. Like
Yes, me too.
this is dead. Like we joke, we clown, we do all the things, but we are dead
Well, he
serious when it
does. I'm
comes to.
serious at all
Oh
times.
yeah, he doesn't smile. But no, we it's people are dying. I've lost people, and now with what the dope is now, you don't even know what it is. It's some crazy
It's
stuff
No.
that's
not
just
dope.
taking people out the game, and I'm taking a stand. I'm tired of it. Like I was tired of it stealing my life. I was
Yeah.
tired of it killing my friends. I was tired of it of making all of these people sell themselves short. Like addicts, we're gifted people. We're very talented. We're smart.
Yes.
We're like we care. We love at a high rate, and it's like
Yes.
we're wasting it all behind this addiction. And now that we found a way out, I'm so passionate. Like, yo, let me tell you how
Yes.
there's a way. You know what I mean? It's not over with. I know you think it's over right now, but it's
And
not. There's
y'all do
another.
it through your music, and that's what's amazing is that you're doing it through your music. It was very, very powerful. When I met
Thank you.
you, you gathered everyone, and you're like, "Yo, we're gonna pray." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, that's what's up. I like this because it together you bring yourself in unity." I
Yeah.
want to go to Founders Day, but the only reason I want to go, I don't want to fight the crowd or anything like that. I just want to go hear the Lord's Prayer with 4,000 people saying it at once, and then I'm good.
Oh,
Like I
it's wild.
just want to hear that.
They do this thing too where I've been blessed enough to go to the last two Founders Days, and they do this thing where you get in the Zip Stadium and they have everybody stand, and then they do this count off where it's like anybody with 30 days or whatever, sit down. And then it goes to, 6 months, sit down, up to a year. And then it gets up to literally 10 years. And you got these OGs standing up. And then it got up, I forget what it went up to, like 60 some odd years. You got somebody standing there, the whole stadium goes nuts, like turning up, like, yeah, 60 some years.
That's awesome.
It's a really
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
feeling to have that many people in one place just repping the same thing, the story of hope.
Yes, man. That's what it's
So
about. Like
so you're gonna come
unity.
this year and we're gonna link up and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the
Yes,
thing.
yes. We're all gonna do it. And I want like Manny Vitale and Tyler Thomason, like he's a boxer now, and like I know I've met a lot of people doing this podcast, which links to another person, which links to another person.
Yeah.
And the whole part is I'm not trying to be better than any other podcast. I want us to all be one site. That we're all coming together in unity and fighting this, man. It sucks. Like I was a meth addict, but I was around. I'd never done drugs my entire life until I came to I'm not blaming Ohio. It was my job. I worked with a lot of people. I worked with a lot of people that did drugs and and being a woman in construction and things. But
Yeah, you tough, huh?
no. I mean,
You
I
said-
can be.
You
I
said
mean,
that you said that you welded. I'm a union iron worker myself by trade.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
Nice. I worked with a lot of iron workers. I did industrial construction, like
Yeah.
power plants.
It's a different breed.
I'm not a tool fella, you know. I got a guy for that. You know, I'll
Nah.
get a guy and I'll have him do the thing. I'm not good with power tools, and I like chainsaws. Those are fun.
You should be a welder. No, I'm just playing, bro.
No,
Hey, I used to torch a pipe every once in a while.
that
If you know what I
doesn't
mean.
count.
That's
You
No,
need to
not
hold
the
your hand
same.
steady.
Not the same, bro.
No, all right.
No.
So sorry.
No, I'm just.
I was an
kidding.
apprentice.
Yeah.
Apprentice. I never made it.
But hey, maybe that's because that's not what was meant for you in God's
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah,
You
I was
feel me?
always.
Like
I
you're
was always-
doing right now, you're sending God's message in a different way. And I love that. You were saying before we came on here that did he just say Jesus? Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that's what's sweet. Like, for instance, that show we just did, and we make it a staple to do this. We're in a club, right? That most would say, and some critics have, where what are y'all doing in clubs like that? Like that's not a good environment. There's people that use drugs there, they drink there, da da da. And I'm like, so y'all are saying basically God saved our life to give this message, and we're only supposed to tell people that already know God and already are sober? What about the 90 other percent of people out there
Right.
that
Yes.
and like at one of the shows, this dude came up to me because we faithfully shout Jesus out no matter where we are. We say who's in charge, what we're doing it for. It's Jesus, y'all. And people
Yes.
respect it, even if they don't understand. But after the show, he had two people come up and I had two, and one of them's holding a beer, and he's like, man, I need help. He's like, I'm drinking this and I don't even know why. I just don't know how to not. And that was the realest stuff somebody's ever like, I just don't know how to
Yes.
not.
I think
You
it's
know?
awesome and it's different.
So I
That's
took it.
what
It's like
more
a,
people should be doing.
it's like, yeah, and then I take it as a personal responsibility. I'm like, oh, all right, God, I got you. And then I,
You're not-
I get his information,
Yeah.
and the first thing I do is I make him feel comfortable because I remember how I felt. I didn't want to feel
Right.
intimidated or no other man telling me what to do or what I'm doing wrong. So I use that experience and I break the ice. We get in there, and then I'm exchanging numbers, and then next thing you know, that same person I had him at church that next
Right.
week. You know what I'm saying? And he's
That's
sober
what's
today. He's
up.
sober today from that. So it's like we are
Yes.
blessed to go into
Yes.
environments like that. We love doing Soberfest. That's like the energy is amazing. But we also we're
Yes.
saved to go in the trenches. We pray before every show, before we walk in. We're in the parking lot praying for protection. And it's really, people are starting to see that we stand on our message. We're real about it. We're unwavering. We don't change up. And so we get respect whether they agree or whether they can relate, whether they're talking gangster music stuff, which, I still turn up every once in a while. That's what I grew up on. But it's like we get respect because we stand on our word and we believe in it so much because it's life and death for us. It's not a
I
joke.
love that.
So
No,
I'm not going to
not a
halfway
joke.
straddle the fence with God because God don't halfway straddle the fence with me,
That's right. He lets you open these two gifts every morning.
Absolutely.
And you're not just sending a God message. You're sending a message about addiction. You're sending a message about God. Two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
Why not go to the places that you go to? And who says you can't?
And it's
You
just,
know?
it's like
I love it.
we're not boxed in. We're not just addiction music. We're not just God music. We're
Right.
real life music. We talk about relationships
Right.
because a lot of people, especially in recovery and even outside of
Yes.
it, broken hearts. Tell me you ain't got their heart broken. Who just sits there and like listens to his song and plays it over and over because it hurts so good. You're
Literally just like Dear Closure. We were at the show
we wrote that
it was
right
Friday. Yeah. And I apologize. I'm not like trying to not talk a lot, but Bino's really holding it together because I've had no voice.
You're okay, man.
But
I'm glad you're here.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we did that song, Dear Closure, and like if you look at the video that we've been like posting it and everything from the show, there's literally people that have bottles, people that are smoking, people that are doing this and doing that, but they're all vibing with the music, and it just like then I get a couple videos sent to me yesterday of people watching the live performance in their car because they can't listen to the song yet. I didn't even tell you about that.
What?
They're watching the live performance while it's hooked up to the Bluetooth in their car
Oh, to hear the whole song.
to hear the whole song.
We're releasing it on Valentine's Day. Like we're starting to get clever with this stuff. Like
Yeah.
we're figuring out the business
Me.
of it. Oh,
Me. It
He
was
is
my
me.
idea.
He is me. Valentine's Day, Dear Closure. You know, it just went
Yeah.
perfect. You know, and
But no, I'm just playing. But we
I
make
know.
music. We make music about real stuff, and
I get
relationships is
deadly, man.
And
It's
it's
deadly. It
relationships
is
is a hard
deadly.
topic.
Like it real
bro,
talk. It's
I've been
deadly in
there,
recovery.
man.
People,
It
it
is.
almost took me out the
Yes.
game. You know what I mean? Because you
Yes.
almost you don't innocently idolize that person because you take away drugs and alcohol, and now you have this person that makes you feel like the same things drug and alcohol did, like feel
Right.
good. And so you almost put it above things, and that's when it gets dangerous. And if you don't know,
Right.
you don't know. And it's like I innocently
But
almost, caused myself to
unfortunately,
relapse from love.
unfortunately, though, like I don't know how long y'all have been sober, but
I
it
got 2
takes.
years next month
I
Um,
got it.
I
on
am.
the 7th.
I'm working for the dark side. I cannot relate with any of the AA stuff. I
Get
do.
out of here.
I do NA.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with. I like all the A's.
100% listen to save my life. But I got
Absolutely.
3 years and 7 months myself.
Hey, yo, but
Nice.
listen. This was cool. This is where my recovery is getting, and it's a blessing. I remember I used to know every month for month exactly on that day. It's like, yo, I got 16 months. I got 5 months. I got da da da. The night of the show is the 7th. I didn't realize until the next day. I'm like, oh shit, I had 23 months yesterday. Yeah, and then I posted something like a day late. You know what I mean? But
You told me at the show.
oh, I did. So I guess I
I'm
knew.
proud of you guys.
We kind of mini celebrated.
Okay, good. Yeah,
But I didn't see you the whole
But
next day.
what I'm saying is, it becomes now a way of life. It is just my way of life. It's not something that I'm fighting to do or I'm barely hanging on with. It's turned into where this is my life now, So it's
Yes.
just another day.
I'm proud of you guys.
But 2
And-
years, man, that's a miracle, dude. Because I couldn't get past 2 hours. Real talk, I could
Yeah,
not.
no.
It was an
Been there.
obsessive thing where it just seemed impossible, and that's why I was suicidal. You mix the mental health piece with the I'm never gonna be able to get off of this stuff. I can't. I don't know how. And
So I was talking about that earlier, like the heroin and the pills. I never did heroin, but I did the pills. Like I said,
Yeah.
same thing at Tylenol. But the pain. So I think I went through that for a reason, so that I could help other people. Because when I see someone that's
Yeah.
dope sick and things like that, I have empathy for them because
absolutely.
I know how they feel. I know how painful it is. And that's how people are overdosing, is because they're hurting so bad, and then they just
Mhm.
shoot it, and then they didn't realize their tolerance, should have been lower, and
Yeah.
it's really scary.
Yeah.
But I empathize with people that are going through dope sickness and everything else, because it's not a quick fix. This is something that takes time, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, to get through.
And that
And
dope sickness, the fear of that dope sickness will keep you out there. It kept me out there for years because I was so scared of being dope sick. Like it was
yes,
it was
because
terrible.
it's painful. It's
Yeah, it's
painful.
horrible.
And I mean,
I
I
don't
only
know.
know from the pill side, because I could not even imagine it on that side. I just could not.
Yeah. Well, I never really struggled with heroin or any downers. Really, I watched my uncle go through it, and that was like enough for me. I really hope that beeping stops at some
Hey,
point.
get your car under control, huh? We're trying to do a thing over here.
Maybe we could shut it.
Oh, I was kidding. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Oh my God.
He said, dang.
That is so funny.
He said, oh, sorry, and then turned it off. I'm like, I was kidding. I swear to God, I didn't even know anybody was out there.
And honestly, I can't hear anything on here, so.
Hey, they probably hate me. I always have loud music playing because I'm always writing. I'm constantly writing, so I always have and the walls are real thin, and then I just yelled at one of them on accident.
And it was an accident for them to hit their thing too.
Y'all must live in an apartment.
But yeah, I watched my uncle go through it, and so I never really saw addiction from that side. I was always like a really really heavy drinker, and then it turned into partying a little bit, smoking weed here and there, and then mine was always uppers. Like I always wanted to go go go.
Me
Zootski.
too.
Yeah. So then when I met methamphetamines,
Yeah, was
that's
mine.
when everything really, like
Twiggy.
I wasn't necessarily like I can't relate because I don't know what the dope sickness is like. I watched it, you know what I mean. I watched my uncle overdosed a couple times. I had to try to bring him back one of the times. But I would see how physically sick he would get, and
I almost envied you guys because when you guys didn't have drugs, you'd sleep. You just go to sleep.
well,
Me, I'm over here like, yeah.
well, listen. So I don't know how I can't really weigh though how it is compared to alcohol because I never stopped drinking.
Flat out,
Like
yeah.
I started my day with a fifth, and I would drink the entire day. So if I stayed up for 14
Manageable, you know. We
days,
were managing it very well, you know.
you would have never known from the outside. um,
See, meth was my drug of choice.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was mine too.
I started doing it actually at work, and I was a functioning
Me too.
addict,
Yeah, I
And
did it
I
at work
worked with a
too.
lot of men, and I got introduced to it. I went to a company barbecue at Ashta Chemical in Ashtabula, and I walked in the wrong door at the wrong time, and there were a bunch of men and a woman of my stature. I was the general foreman out there over pipe. And
Yeah.
so I walked in the wrong room at the wrong time, and they're like, "Nah, you just saw all of us smoking meth in here." And they're like, "You want to try it?" Well, dude put his foot in front of the door. He's like, "Nah, you're gonna smoke." It's like
Yeah.
you got an upper hand right now over all of us, and you're like one of the only female foremen. So like, I had to hold my own. But I
Yeah.
did. It was July 4th, 2019. I tried methamphetamines and was in the bathroom for 5 hours trying
Yeah.
to fix my hair. No,
Funny how
it
that
was
worked, huh?
insane.
Oh my God.
It was insane. Like
I
I
know
look
that
back at
all
pictures, I'm
too
like,
well.
used to think you were just so awesome, and don't you know who I think I am?
Oh,
You
who I
know,
think I Dude, I
don't
also
you
did
know who
hella
I
meth.
think I am?
I did lots of meth, so I also know how that demon is as well. My just the main thing was opiates, but I was always had those party favors. You know what I mean? I always had to have some meth with this, with this. I always had to be drinking. You know what I mean? So I get those times. I have so many probably in my old phone selfies that I thought were like the shit, and it
Right?
was me just looking twacked out of my mind, doing different angles and stuff like that
Yeah.
in the mirror.
For like an hour, or
Yeah,
2 or 3 hours, and it was just insane. And like I swore I would never say this. I stayed high. I watched a comedian about drinking piss. I stayed high in rehab drinking my piss and other things. And they're like, "How are you staying high?" That's how far gone
you
I
don't
was.
want to
Wow.
know.
I was shooting meth. Like I went from snorting a little line at work to living in the woods under Warren Bridge. Like it
Yo.
was that bad.
Yikes.
I believe, and it takes a person like us, like to hear a story like that and be completely unshook. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what?
That's
And
crazy.
people,
Did you set up
people,
a fort? You know, or how did that go? How
I
much
had an
copper did you
awesome
steal the
fort.
day
Thank
after?
you. I would rather be out there than a trap house, though. To be honest,
Right. I bet you had a setup too. It was nice and
I did. I
organized.
had my own wardrobe closet and
Friggin'
clothes from the
hammocks.
mission. Yes, I would rather be out there than be in a trap house.
Yeah, I feel you. That's
100%.
dope.
But it
That's the
it did. It
insanity,
took
though.
my life. It took my career from me. It took my sanity from me. It took everything I had 13 times over.
Yeah,
And I feel clarity. And you were talking about relationships. That's just one thing that I think that you have to learn, because there's a lot of people that say date in sobriety, date outside of sobriety. Well, they
Yeah.
understand if you date outside of sobriety.
hmm
But I've just had to live and learn, and now I know my value and I know my worth, and I won't
right.
settle for less than that. I
And
have the most
sometimes
amazing man in my life right now
that's
that
awesome.
I've never had. I've never been treated the way I am treated right now, and that's because I know my value and I stand with confidence and stature with it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
which I think is on the role that you guys are going. So
Yeah.
It's almost like too, I have to tell myself when things are going good, I'm like, don't sabotage this, dog. Don't nothing is
Right.
wrong. Don't create a problem. They're just being a good person to you. Like, what? When's the other foot gonna drop? What do they really mean? Or what's the side agenda? Or what, and it's like, no, they're just being good to you because you're a good person.
Yeah,
It's like,
watch saying that because I'm hypochondriac about being sick, and I've been having none of those thoughts in my
oh,
new
sorry, he's newly in a relationship. I'm
nearly in a
not
relationship. I've
sorry.
been having none of those thoughts. I've been doing really good, honestly.
Yeah, but
Like
you got time under your belt though, bro.
yeah.
You got time under
Well,
your
listen,
belt, and
I
you know
I
your
was
value.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I have sponsees now, and they're like, "Oh, I met this girl, and this, and that." Like I at the so from the very beginning, like to the end, I went all the way through rehab 19 times and had to
Wow.
just keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. The last time I went back, it stuck. I also had 10 years of prison time over my head. So, things were different, but I got into one of those rehab relationships and I brought her back with me from the treatment center out in Chicago. And um, I didn't even know who I was yet. I didn't even know what I
No.
had to offer. I didn't know anything. And I thought, honestly, that I did. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go get clean. I'll get my criminal record cleaned up. I'll bring the girl back. I'll be whole again. But that
Right.
doesn't, you know what I mean? It just looked good maybe from the outside because she ended up relapsing and cheating on me. So,
Wow.
Hate when that happens.
but if you would have asked
Yeah.
me at that time, I was like, this is the one. You know what I mean? But I didn't
But
even
she
know
was
who I
their
was yet.
lesson. You're each other's lesson. So I look at it
Yeah.
instead of these things. Yes, they hurt, but now I look at it as I learned something from each and every person that I've been with in my
Yeah,
entire life. I
yeah,
learned
Yeah.
something from them, and I've brought it with me to now. And
Yeah.
that's what you know. And you've got time under your belt, and now you know that because you're not new in sobriety.
Yeah.
You know, you're not. You look at somebody new in sobriety, and you're like, no, bro, you do not need a
yeah. You're
relationship.
right.
Like,
Yeah. Like I don't
but
know
you
why
can't
you
tell
don't
them,
need it yet, but you don't need it yet.
right? But you don't need it yet. But when you get time under your belt, you start having
Yeah.
sponsees and stuff like that. That's amazing, and
Well,
Yeah.
you
you help
said it.
somebody that helps you.
You said it. It's knowing your own worth. For once in our life,
Yes,
we know we have value, and we
yes,
know we're good people, and we are, we respect ourselves now. So like, there is like an ex
right.
that I was with for so long, like thought I was gonna be with her for the rest of my life, and
It happens, man. We all do it.
I couldn't live
No,
without.
I can't help. I can't. I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't help but mess with him sometimes because I haven't seen him in a little while. So when he says stuff, I know exactly what's gonna throw his brain off.
He's my brother. You know what I mean? He's like legit my brother. So,
I know.
but
I
I'm
love
sorry,
it.
your ex. Your ex.
my
You're
ex,
talking
get me
about.
back on track
Yeah,
here.
your ex. There you
No,
go.
but like I
There
used
he
to
is.
be almost a slave. I used to be a slave to this person because it's all I knew. I was in my addiction. It's all I was worth. I couldn't do anything else because I'm not able to. So I put up with the toxicity of it and just
Yeah,
repetitive bullshit. And now
yeah,
that and it's because I didn't know who I was. I was settling for
yeah,
what she told me I was. You know what I mean? So now that
yeah.
I've worked my ass off to get everything that I have, we're sitting in my apartment right now.
That's
And
right, bro.
I went from a bando to this, and I went through the stages, sober houses, living in a basement, all the things, but I'm here now. But I've worked so hard to attain the peace, the level of peace that I have most of the time. I'm not always peaceful, but I try to be, that I'm not willing to sacrifice that peace for
No,
someone to treat me crazy. So it's like
nope.
I won't
You
do it
got it.
now. And so
Nope.
now that goes with that knowing your value thing, to where now it's like,
Absolutely.
yo, you need to be an addition to me. Like, I'm gonna give you everything I can, but you need to be an addition to my life. I will no longer settle for,
That's right.
less.
That's
And it
right.
turns out I'm a
And
good dude too. You know what I mean? So it's like, why
this
should I
is,
have to?
I throw people off when I say this, and I'm like, you're gonna die in your life. You are. No one else. You and the choices that you make are on you. The
Yeah,
birthday, your tombstone's gonna have the birth date and your death date. The line in between that's gonna represent your entire life because it's
right.
your life and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, I'm sorry, I'm a thinker, I'm a visionary, and
Oh, me
like
too. I get
I
it.
I like to think about they my ex actually taught me change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. The perception of
Wow.
things.
Change the
Yeah.
way you look at things, and the way you look at things change. Mark it.
Right on.
Yeah, he's
Change
my
the way
mobile
you
memory. I don't have a memory, so I just yell things to him and he remembers them for me.
change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
I know.
Fire. I love that. Anyway.
Yes, but it's true. If you change, like, say somebody run into the store, with their car, and I'm like, I'm like, well, at least they didn't mess up the sidewalk or hit anybody. Like, if you change your perception on things, it gives you more clarity. Because I also think power, positivity, and God.
Yeah, 100%.
Power,
Hey, that's
positivity.
look. Speaking of which, like I read books. This is the sequel to The Secret right here, talking about manifestation. And then no joke, I really do this. The power of positive thinking. You just said
Yes,
positive thinking. I gotta study this stuff because I don't want to be that old
this
person. Get it? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
this is the Four Agreements, the wisdom book. It's
And then,
awesome.
dude, and it's like it's my responsibility now in my life to grow and learn how to live and conquer, almost counteract that life that I lived before. I did a lot of damage to my brain and I learned how to live for all the wrong things the wrong way. So
Dude,
now,
I had to learn how to read again. Like, because when I was on methamphetamines, when I started coming into sobriety and things, like, you need that year. Like, you
mhm,
dang sure don't need a relationship because you have got to focus on you. And it has taken every bit of these 2 years to find myself and
yeah,
who I am again. I didn't have, I knew how to read, but my mind was still working 90 miles an hour to read the words. And
yeah,
so I would have to read constantly, constantly. Then I had to do
mhm.
the EDMR treatment with my eyes. Like, so it's taken all of this time to do that.
Yeah. Have you ever read something and like you're reading it and you read it and then you realize you're like, I got to keep it real. I have no idea what I just read. I got to go back
Yes,
and read that
all the
again.
time. I got ADHD, of course I do.
Exactly. Yeah, I suffer from that too. So what I do now that like it's all about finding hacks for me, like life
Right.
hacks. What works better, what doesn't work, what I can put in my toolbox. And what works for me, I've found is to read little bits at a time and then meditate on it. When I
Yeah,
get
that's right.
I feel like I've gotten, I don't, it's not quantity. I need to read 3 chapters. It's quality of if I read 3 pages and got an astounding amount. And then I go and talk to God. I go and I meditate and I manifest things based off that new information that I have, because if I don't do that, it'll disappear. It's, like this message will self-destruct in 10 seconds. That's like every thought for me. If I don't really dial it in and remember it, it's gone.
So I need some prayers from y'all too. The man that I met, he wants to start a biker church. We want to start a biker church, or just an everyone alcoholics church. People
Real
that.
quick, you got to check out ABC Church. When you come down here, there's a pastor. He's a great pastor named Randy Baker. It's a
Okay,
church in Akron called ABC, Akron Bible Church. And it's a
okay,
bunch of bikers, dude, old school bikers. Just keep thugging it for God. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
he
they,
wants to call it holy rollers.
yeah, yeah. So
That's
when you
awesome.
come out, I'll take you up there. I got a friend of mine that's real close with the pastor, and we'll get
Yeah,
you in there.
right on. That's awesome. So I'm so glad we did this, and I want to give a quick shout out to Manny Vitale, Tyler Thomason. I have so many names. Like, I have so many names. Like, I love these Chad Valier from Valuerdation.
I get it.
Um, you
It's
know
so
what I'm
many
saying?
people along this
Those are my
journey.
brothers and sisters. And
Right.
I have hard time getting women on here. And so if y'all know women that want to do a podcast, like, I would love to do
Oh, we
a
got some
podcast with them.
some great people that really would add value to it. That's the cool part about this life of recovery is the people I have in my life that I'm blessed to have in my life, they add to it all in a different way.
Yes.
And it's a team, like help me help you. Like I'll get a random message of positivity, or somebody will give me an idea about Too Fluent, or I'll call them and just talk on some random stuff. Right. I have women in my life that I call sisters that I don't look at in
Yeah,
any type of way other than I respect what you bring to the world. You know what I mean?
that's
And it's
right.
like, so I could link you up with some cool, interesting people for that
Yeah,
for
that would
sure.
be awesome. And that's the crazy thing is we're in that in between world. Like, I don't really relate to regular society, and I don't relate to the drug addict
I
world
can relate to
anymore.
that.
That's real.
We're
That's
in the in between world, and you become my brothers and sisters. Like, I've had a problem in my relationship before. They're like, you talk to everybody, all the guys and stuff. I said, those are my brothers. Those are
yeah,
my
Yeah.
brothers, and I do not think one single thing about them except that they are my brothers.
flat
And
out.
and we mentor each other, and to help them helps me, and vice versa. But
Yeah.
if you look, you talk to the women exactly the same, because those are my sisters. And I
Yeah.
Yeah.
found a sisterhood. I've never had a sisterhood. And addicts and alcoholics and are closer to God than I have ever met in my life.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because we've met the devil. We've been
we've
in
been
hell.
down.
We've been in
Yes.
hell. So if the
Been.
hell's real, we know God is.
That's right. And there most people that I know, and I know they say, like, in the alcoholics, Alcoholics Anonymous and stuff like that, find your higher power. No,
Mhm.
man, my personal savior is Jesus Christ.
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean,
Yeah.
just
Isn't it
he is the
freeing?
one.
Isn't it freeing? Like
Yes.
at least it is for me that I used to like be bashful and shy about like Jesus, I like God, and I'd be in, because of the environment that I came from, the prison, the streets, that it's not a thing. Nowadays, we go in places like where we perform Friday. I'll go anywhere and I'll be like, it's Jesus, y'all.
That's
Like
right.
I'll tell you, ask me about God. Let me show you what he has done in my life. And I proudly proclaim that. And that is why I believe these
Amen.
blessings are happening, because I don't care if you
Absolutely
would
it
like to
is.
judge me because Jesus Christ saved my life and is making my life improve. That's fine. I'll pray for you, homie, but it's not going to shake me because I know the only way I'm alive and thriving today is because of God. That's the
That's
only
right.
way it could be.
And
And he's
humble.
so thorough in my life that there's no one that could tell me different. So now that I'm unshakable and I'm proud, I'm
I know it.
dangerous. Like I'm a threat
That's
to the
right.
devil now. So
Yes.
it's
Amen.
crazy.
I think Sam
Amen,
said it
brother.
a long time ago. We have this a friend of ours who's in recovery, and he said, quit worrying about what people think about you and remember what God knows about you.
That's right.
Right.
Because he's not going to ask me about you. God ain't
No,
asking me about
no,
your sins. He's going to ask me about mine.
100%. I
And
think that's what's really cool though. About
Make a
what we're
song that
doing.
says that.
Yeah, throw it in as a lyric. I think that's what's really cool though, because Bino was talking earlier about not being able to box us in, and I think that that's vital because what you were just talking about, and it kind of like I had like a little epiphany. Um,
good word.
yeah, like the people that we're like talking to. Okay, a lot of people in the recovery community. That's it seems like to us, because because we're in recovery, like that's everybody. Everybody knows
Right.
about the recovery world. But the truth is that not everybody knows about the recovery world,
Nope.
especially people know about rehab. They know about people that go to rehab. You know what I mean? But the
Right.
success story statistic is very slim to none. So I
Right.
feel like that we're speaking to those people. But then earlier, what Bino was talking about, we were talking to those people inside that bar, and they're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like,
I still know how to not.
and you hit another thing too. All this is coming to fruition because I haven't been saying nothing. But um, but it's like, we have went to hell before. I stayed there for a while and I was pretty comfortable while I was there.
Kick your feet up.
You know what
Right.
I mean? So now the fact that we can walk back through hell to tell
Right.
people that
With
there's
our hand
another
out.
way,
Like
yeah,
reach
with our
our
hand
hand.
out, like there's another way. But
There is.
the thing about that we're not boxed in, and I think that's crucial. I really truly do, because um with with our music, we speak to certain people, but now since we've made recovery music, we've made music about this. Sorry. Okay, good. We've made music about this, about our change up of our life, some things about rock bottom, all
The
things in
life
our
I have,
yeah,
gratitude.
life I have. Like
Gratitude. Yes.
we're starting to broaden out into bigger topics.
Being an artist.
We're literally, like, now that we have a little bit under our belt, some performances in a pretty solid following. um Now we're able to broaden out into bigger topics, just like Dear Closure. I think that song's gonna blow up. I don't think it, I know it, just because that's such a huge topic, like closure.
Right.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, that could be with
Yes.
so many things. It could be with a relationship, it could be with losing a family member,
Be with drugs.
it
Closure
could
on the
drugs and
drugs, man.
alcohol. Like, it's huge. So now we are starting to make music that I feel, not that the recovery music and everything that we've done thus far is not as important, but now we are developing into artists that we are able to talk to
Everybody.
anybody and everybody. Like
That's
with Nero on
right.
stage, like there was dudes on the stage, and it was for our dude Flame's birthday party. It was
Shout out
such a good
Flames.
time. Yeah, shout out to Flames. But there was people in there from so many different walks of life with ski masks on. There was armed security. There's people with drugs. There's people with alcohol. There's people with this. Well, guess what? You're not too far gone because we weren't. So we want to have a conversation with you too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? And like,
Everybody's
and
got some kind of hurt, habit, or hang up.
Yeah,
everybody's got some kind of pain.
Everybody's
Like
got.
and they
We
need
are
somebody.
humans.
They need someone to stand up and say it first, is what I've noticed with a lot of
Yes.
men like us. They'll
Yes.
be feeling all this stuff, but then the crowd they're in or the life they've had, they'll be damned if they're gonna say it out loud. You know what I mean? But then
And
we, two dudes like us, get up there and we start talking about our deepest emotions and real things, and we're still fly as hell. You know what I'm saying? We're still
right.
doing our thing, and it's
and
like,
humble.
and
And
very
you're doing God's
Yeah.
work.
I no, but I'm
You're doing
saying like
God's work.
we're making this stuff acceptable for guys like us
Yeah.
who never had that outlet to be freed of. Like a dude told me the other, it was like a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Yo, real talk. I was riding around listening to that song, and I damn near shed a tear." And if you'd seen this dude, what he looked like, you'd think, otherwise, that he doesn't have emotions, or, he's whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, that's some of the realest stuff I've ever heard." And then he starts thinking on, like, y'all opened up. Maybe I can explain some of these emotions. Started asking questions
Right.
about emotions. And some people just don't know.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. They've never been exposed to exposing their emotions, never been exposed to working on them, figuring them out. So it's just a life-changing thing for some people. From us, let me take the hits. Let me be vulnerable. I'm
Yeah.
tough.
Yes.
People talk crap about me. That's fine. Go ahead. But you feel it too.
And you
And
planted the seed. You planted
yes.
that seed. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing God's work. You planting the seeds, and
I think
God's
the I
sending
think
you. And God's gonna keep sending you to bigger things, and He's starting you off small, and then it's gonna get
Yeah.
bigger, and then it's gonna get bigger because that's God's plan for you, and you're doing
Yep.
amazing.
Thank
I
you
I
so
I
much.
think
love
Hey,
hearing
Terrell,
that.
thank you so much, because it's
Oh,
discouraged. We do get discouraged sometimes because it's a difficult thing. There's so many different facets and different angles of this music thing, and the different God, and then recovery, and then this, and content, and this, and then staying real and keeping God first throughout the whole thing. It's a tightrope walk sometimes. So, like, to hear people be like, "Yo, you're making a difference. It's really working." Like, I see,
yes.
it really feels good, because we're human too. Our flesh will tell us that we ain't nothing. Like, I'm wasting my time, or I'm looking like an idiot. Just real talk. But it's not real. Just because I think it doesn't make it real.
Right.
So I
Right.
appreciate that, for
These
real.
are 4 walls. These are our prison right here, inside here.
yeah.
Like that was my ultimate prison. No worse critic than ourselves on ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
From a
Well, I think that like the thing that Bino was talking about, about I think I know who you're talking about. Dude riding around and saying he almost shed a tear. Like, so it started out with drug addiction, but it grew into gang affiliation, organized crime for me. A lot of I mean, there's not really a soft way to look at any of those things.
guns, you didn't run
Yeah,
around.
it was just a gangbanger is a pretty broad topic, and it does not seem like a soft one. But I'll tell you right now, I saw a lot of people in that life.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the most hardcore individuals.
Even gangsters cry.
Hey, and it
Yes.
all that hard exterior and all that stuff, it stemmed from a place of pain.
Yep.
It stemmed
It
from a
is.
heartbreak, and
Yes.
you didn't know how to handle it, so you just want to shoot your gun off, or you just want to go
Backstabbed by
beat somebody
somebody.
up. Yeah, or you just want to go do drugs and this and that. Like it doesn't matter who, because at the very beginning, if you take all that stuff away, especially biblically, all those things are of this world.
Mm.
Yeah.
Every person is born into this world, and their circumstances are that's a very broad statement. There's all kinds of outside factors,
They
but
deserve a
everybody's
chance for Jesus. And they
yeah,
deserve a chance to have God too. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
it's for everybody, man. And
And
why
like,
not us? Like, I used to say,
Jesus.
why me? Now it's like, why not me? You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
Turn
Yes.
all that
I used to say
pain.
the same thing. Like,
Did you?
don't ask why, ask why not. Like Bill
Yeah,
and
I've never
Bob
heard that one.
started
That's
the
good.
book. Bill and
That's
Bob
dope.
of AA. They were 2 guys that started the AA program. 2 guys,
Bill
Dr.
and
Bob
Bob.
and Bill. So why not? They have
Yeah.
AA all over the world that has made impact because they put God first. And they
Yep.
put God.
Now,
God is 406 times in that book. And I'm not supposed to promote AA and things like that. But what I'm trying to say is that it started with 2 people. Why can't that be two people, as in you, to
Yeah.
make that bigger impact?
And then
Make
Too
it big.
fluent.
Two fluents
Two
around the world.
fluent. That's
And
right.
that is one more thing I'll touch on, just because we're
Do we have a time? Are we running out of time? Is there a time thing?
No.
No, there's no time limit.
You're the
No.
boss. You call it.
Yeah, we're chilling. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
We're
time out
chilling.
there.
All right, we're just
We're
kicking
just
it. You know what I
chilling,
mean?
man.
You're
Um,
cool,
It's all
man. I like
good.
that.
But that's one really, really awesome thing. And I've said it before. I said it in our news interview. As a kid growing up, I was like, man, I wonder how these people got on all these, Spotify, iTunes, all kinds of things. And
It's larger than life.
it's larger than life because right now it's in over 60 countries. It's in 50 cities over those countries. And it's not like the numbers and everything are that important, but with it when it's our business and God's business, numbers are
Right.
everything.
That's
And
right.
even if it was one person, like I used to say a while ago, I think I told you about it, Bino. My dad, my dad is like
Awesome.
he's my best friend.
We're blessed to have great fathers
Yeah,
in our life.
great
Amen.
fathers.
Amen.
And for a long time, he was hearing just about all the bad stuff I was doing.
To have them proud of us, dude, that is why recovery,
Yeah.
the promises, man. To have
Yes,
my
right
father
here.
be proud of me,
That's
it's
right
a
there,
feeling
man.
that,
Yeah. Well, he was at so I went to the job site not too long ago, and this kid was like, he's like, "Hey, is Jason your dad?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, every single time we're on a job, he's playing Too Fluent music and he starts talking to people about it."
Aw.
So if that's as far as it went for me
it's
in my heart, I'm cool. Like if
You're
that's
gonna
as
make me
far as
cry,
it
bro.
went. I'm serious because so
Oh
long
man.
he's seen me in the news, he's seen me on
Yeah,
headlines, he's seen me on inmate rosters. But
that's freaking awesome.
so if that's as far as it went, then that would be sufficient for me.
Right.
But it's going
God
out
said
and
that's not
helping.
enough.
Yeah,
God is
it's helping so many people.
and
You know
that's
what I mean?
tangible. Like, listen, it's so cool because I used
Do
to
you have
care.
water?
I used to care what right here. I used to care what people thought of me.
Right. Me too.
And it used to cause me to act out of my character to where I didn't even know who I was anymore. I knew who I thought you wanted me to be,
Right.
and I never, you can't find your purpose living for someone else, and
Nope.
I feel like,
Thank
you know, it's just wild because I have tangible things, at least one a day on a minimum. Someone reaches out and either telling me their sobriety
I
date,
wonder if we could flip this around.
telling me leave it be. Why you got to make it?
That's something tangible.
Well, we'll show it. Okay, show it. Yeah, show it. All right. Well, let me explain first. Tangible, tangible things, as in messages to us that people do not have to send. No one. They get their phone. They think to type it, and they're like, "Yo, this song helped me get through this moment, and now I have this many days sober.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes.
you." Or, "Hey, what do you? Can you teach me about God?" That's the one I love the most. I've taken people
Yes.
to church that ain't been to church in forever. You know what I mean? And that is
Yes.
tangible stuff. To where if
Yes.
it ends right there, and that's it, we make another song forever. We still. I'm
You
bringing
planted that
somebody to
seed.
Jesus, man. Yeah, I'm
That's
planting the
right. And
seed.
you
So it's like
planted that
that.
seed.
It's hard almost for people to hate on Too Fluent. It's almost like, yo, the music's good. We're the same in person as we are out here. We're just passionate. We want everyone to win. We don't want nobody in the dark. We want you to find God so passionately that that's why it's growing so big, because it's real, it's genuine.
Love it.
And
Yes.
now we
And
have tangible proof.
God's
And look at
not
this.
coming back. Yes.
Someone made us
Yes.
this.
That's awesome. I saw it. Yes. That is so
Listen, I'll tell
cool.
you right now, holding up all four of those by myself kicked my ass.
And then I got hanging up here. One of my best friends, his daughters love Too Fluent. She makes us little paintings from different
Aw.
songs, and she gives it to me. So I got them hung up here. I took a picture and sent it to her. We get videos of kids dancing, singing to some of our songs because parents feel comfortable,
Aw.
because we don't cuss in the music and stuff. And when we're out in person, and like kids will run up, it's Bino, or it's probably, and then run up and we show them love. Like, that's real stuff. So it's
No,
easier
and when
now
I
to.
met you guys, the day I met you guys at the park, like y'all brought in that was very heartfelt, and you could just feel it. Like you could feel it through your song, what you had been through and everything, and it was just
That's
real.
dope.
And your foundation was God.
Yeah.
That's what made it amazing to me.
Thank
And I'm
you.
like, I gotta have these
Thank you.
guys on the show, is
Yeah.
because we're sending a message not only for God but for addiction and people that's helped. Because I didn't know nothing about a sober house. I didn't know. I thought that a rehab was something that looked like a hospital. I
Yes.
didn't know it's a house. The one I
Yes.
went
Yeah.
to, it's a house, and then you transition out, and it was amazing. It was the best
Yeah.
thing that ever happened.
Yeah,
You know,
it's defeating the stigma of people think if you remove the
Yes.
drugs and alcohol that your life is gonna just suck. It's gonna be boring. What am I gonna do without drugs or alcohol? When really
I thought the same thing.
it's whack now. Like getting high
Right. I
and
get
getting all
high
messed up.
on Jesus.
It's whack, yeah. So like he doesn't. I'm trying to push it for our merch. We're getting merch coming out soon. We have a bunch of different ideas. I love it. It's a shirt that says "Making Sober Sexy," and I mean that in a way
I
of
need
not
that for
like
my next
appearance.
podcast.
I mean it as in like, what do you think? Give me your opinion. I mean it as in like making it attractive to be sober,
Yes.
making it the
Yes.
new like, yo, I'm proud to be
I
sober.
am okay
Right.
with the
He
whole thing. I am just
the sexy part.
listen. So you already said that our music doesn't cuss, so their parents feel okay with their kids listening to it. If we say sober is sexy, throwing sex on a shirt with our name on it
I
totally
get that.
This
moves
is
you
that
into a
tightrope.
different.
Remember we were talking about that tightrope we gotta walk because we got all these.
Hey, I'm the tightrope. Hey.
I'm the wild card. I'm like, yo, let's set it on fire. Wait.
So I see what product is saying though. I do see what he's saying.
Yeah. So
And
my goal, I want
because
people.
God,
hold
you
on.
can't put that and God in the same sentence. I mean, I'm
God is
I'm
sexy.
sorry
God is
that I'm
what you
gonna have
say.
to agree
God
with
is
him on
super
that.
sexy. God is.
He just fell off the tightrope.
Is there a
I'm
net down there?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Like,
What? You know,
okay.
but I
But let
mean
me tell
well.
you
I mean
this.
it well. I mean it like, yo, I want people to see us
I'm okay
and
with
see
the
that we have
idea.
a
We
good
just
time.
need to
And
figure out a different word. That's all. And,
Right.
and
That's what I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to.
Yeah.
Something that's like you know.
yeah, because I want people to see it and be like, yo, maybe I can be sober and it doesn't suck. Look at these guys. They're having fun. They're
Hey.
popping. And
How about sober looks good on you, or sober looks good on us, or something? Like
Sober
that.
is
we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. You know?
Huh?
I don't know. I think when God's building an army, I think it can be gangsta. Jesus can have a gangsta army. Sober is gangsta, or sober is.
Hey, what was that shirt idea I made? There was a picture of us at church. We go up to the stage and everybody prays and stuff. And there was a picture of us praying, and I put it on a shirt. And what did I say? Something about
I'm in love with my homie.
no, dude, come on, man. It was like pray. Oh, it said pray, and it said pray and then thug it out. You know what I mean? Like pray and thug it out. We'll figure this out.
I'm just
from
kidding. I'm
from
sorry.
thugs
I
to
don't even
hugs.
hear him anymore. It just rolls right off of my back, and I don't even understand why.
You went from thugs to hugs, right?
Yeah.
From thugs to hugs.
From thugs to hugs.
That's right.
Did you just embrace me?
Or how about like real gangsters pray?
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
gangsters pray.
Real
Because that's the truth.
It is, man, and real gangsters cry too, man. Cause
They do. And
I
I'm
feel
telling you,
like
I saved this dude's life. He had like dreadlocks and like, he had this hard shell exterior and had to hold his game and stuff like that.
which is needed. You almost need that in the street life we used to live. You need
And
it.
you do. And I agree because that's all he knew.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was just so gangster, but like was the awesomest person. I ended up saving his life with no Narcan. I saved his life, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're an angel."
Yeah.
But like I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he has a heart." He's like,
Yeah.
inside they're just human beings.
We
They
all
don't
are.
have a direction, and need somebody like you to stand up and speak for them, and like just get up with me.
Let me
Let's all
break the
get up and
ice,
pray.
man. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And it's like
Yes.
God put me through everything that I went through and everything he went through, which was painful. A lot of it was really hard. I wanted to give up. I tried to at times, but it's all starting to make sense now in his chess game of like, I know how to speak to certain people and in a way that they will understand and they will know that I know what I'm talking about. Because people like us from the streets, they're sniffing you out to see any form of lie, any form of weakness, or any form of character defects, or is this dude full of shit? And so once they start seeing that we're not full of shit, we know what we're talking about, and they feel similar things, they'll listen better. They'll open up now because they're like, okay, I can relate. So he must know something. And then it opens that door to where if I just go up to somebody that's from the streets and be like, hey, listen, man, Jesus saves. God, John 13 says da da da. He's gonna be like, man, get off my block, dog.
I feel that churches and things like that, it's no offense to churches. I've been through a lot of religions my entire life. I've been Baptist, Pentecostal, I've baptized in Mormon, Jehovah's Witness. But let me tell you this, I learned something from each and every one.
Yeah.
God is not coming back to be our friend. Jesus is coming back with a double-edged sword and fire eyes. He's coming to wipe out earth, and we got to save souls. The
It's
reason
serious.
I got this name for Sober Patrol is I met a guy at the Manse. I don't know if y'all have ever been there. It's in New Lime. It's awesome. Give it up for that place. I met a guy that had a cross on his shirt and it said Soul Patrol. And
Mhm.
which inspired Sober Patrol because I'm out looking for sober people to
I
help
love that.
me,
Yeah.
you know what
I
I
love
mean?
that.
And it's like God's not coming back to be your friend. People don't. I don't want to just save you. I want to let you have everlasting, loving life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get this could be a subject. I could stand up there and preach.
Get it, girl. Turn
Yay!
up.
Hallelujah! But yeah, it's a real thing. Like,
A lot of that is raw. It's a lot of this God stuff is it's really things that might hurt your feelings, or it might make you have to look at yourself, or it might
but
have to
I'm
like
tired of people sugarcoating shit.
flat out. Because
Stop
when you're in those
sugarcoating shit.
situations
I
where you
really went
really,
through this, and for me to help you, I went through addiction. I went through abuse. I went through emotional, physical, rape, abuse, everything that you could possibly think of. I feel that it was a tribulation to lead me to where I am right now
absolutely,
and to help other people.
the strength
That's
that
why,
you possess, the strength that
yes,
you possess, like is a fine-tuned instrument that only you know how to play
that's
based on
right.
your life that you've had, and you play it well, and you attract people by that sound. Metaphorically speaking, that's kind of dope, the
Yeah,
instrument thing. But like,
I missed it.
but it's like,
it's
it's
recorded.
like some of the best advice I've ever gotten that kept me sober hurt the shit out of my feelings, man. It made me like, man, what?
It
Almost
did, but
aggressively mad at you. Like, dog, what?
yes,
Like, and it's those OGs in the program, them straight, old school dudes in there that are like, hey, whatever you think you know right now, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sit down, shut up, and listen, and then, it's what you need to hear to process it,
and that's why you have to do it over and over and over and over, just like the cycle of insanity. You know, doing same thing, expecting different
Different
results.
results, yeah.
Same thing with recovery. You got to do the
Yeah.
same thing to expect to be able to get different results. And action changes everything. I had to sit down. I was one of the people that couldn't sit still, and
Ah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to listen. I'm ready to
Ah,
go back to the sober house. It was real.
yeah.
And then I learned. I relapsed because I wasn't listening. I
Yeah.
relapsed because I wasn't taking it seriously. And I still had drugs. I left drugs open ended when I got arrested and things like that.
You
So
left the door cracked.
I left the door cracked. So it was I already mentally relapsed before I did it,
That's
you
real.
know, and it's real. But it is killing people every 11 minutes. Fentanyl, heroin overdose, you know, drugs, period.
Suicide, dude. Mental health is a huge thing too that I like to
Suicide.
advocate for because
Yes, absolutely.
men like me, I was that dude that I'm not taking no pills because I got it all. I'm fine. I ain't, because I'm not taking nothing because my brain is off. I got it all together when really I'm a mess and I don't have it all together. And this whole thing starts with having good mental health because nothing else can fall in line if you're not good upstairs and if
That's
you're
the
not
basis
honest.
of it.
So I see a doctor once a month, man, and we talk about my life. He gives me great advice on stuff and I take a
Ma-
certain thing of medication that has been fine tuned over this 2 years that started at IBH rehab and has turned into what it is now. But I've admitted that it's okay, to work on your mental health and take certain medicine if you need
Yes,
it for your
speak
mental health.
out for mental health
And that's, yeah,
because
it's
it's a
like,
stigma.
it's a
They used
stigma,
to want to stigma.
flat out.
People think that okay, so like back when I was growing up, with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, come
Back
on
when I was
now.
growing up, they would say, oh, we're gonna put you away, and it was a stereotype, so people are afraid to speak out about mental health.
Yeah, that
Not
dude's
me.
crazy or that dude's weird or
Yeah, they're crazy. Oh my gosh. Normal is a setting on a washing machine.
flat out. I don't want to be
Period.
normal. You show me normal, I'm gonna show
There's
you a
no
liar.
such thing as normal. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's a setting on a washing machine. There ain't no such damn
flat
thing.
out.
Like, you're a human, man. For real. But
Which I
you're getting
have a
all
washing
hyped
machine
up.
in which I have a washing machine in my apartment
It looked like you
nowadays.
were pointing
The
at me.
little things go a long way. Like I have heat in my apartment, I have hot water. Some days I need to break it down to as simple wins as that because I'll have a bad day and it happens, dude. You can have I don't care how much sober time, I don't care how much God, you have a bad day. Things go wrong and wrong and wrong. and where I'll have to find anything possible to hold on to keep that gratitude up, because having a washing
Absolutely.
machine in my apartment where I can wash clothes, having heat, having a bed, having a car, I didn't
Water,
have that two
a
years ago.
fork, a spoon,
Flat
a
out.
cup, flat
Yeah.
out. It's the
So it's like,
gratefulness.
I tell people all the time, if you feel like it's all bad or poor me, you're sober, you're alive, you still have a chance, you
Amen.
know, and go. And I pray, dude, and I think of the things that are blessings that 2 years ago, if you'd have told me I could have had an eighth of what I have now, I'd have done whatever to get it, you know. And
Sure.
now I can't let myself fall back and be like, I'm good, or not take for granted things that are blessings from God, dude, that I was homeless, living in a bando, dude, like freezing cold,
Yeah.
and wearing the same thing. Ain't showered for a week, and it's like I'm not that guy. I'm not that dude that likes to be
No, and
dirty
you're
and
not. That's
looking
what
busted.
drugs do to people. That's what
Yeah,
drugs do to
Well,
people. And if you're
I
not
think that
addressing your mental health,
yeah.
yeah. The mental health is just crucial, man. And we do things where we work with. There's a guy named Kenny Lambert. He runs a store called Just a Dad from Akron. It's a clothing store. And this dude, when I tell you the epitome of recovery and graciousness and kindness, it's this man, Kenny. And he does events for the city. And he had this mental health awareness event where he did like a collab shirt and stuff like that. But I was able to show up to it and take pictures and talk to this judge and talk to kids and all the things about it's okay to address your mental health. And if you don't feel
yes,
that you fit in or something, you know, we'll figure it out. You can figure this stuff out, and makes life a lot easier. Because the
yes,
suicidal place, I've been there. I've been in
yes,
such a dark place. I know what it feels like, dude. I don't want that for anyone so
no,
passionately. So now I'm blessed to have people like Kenny to have these events, which is our protege, like, to where we are going to have two fluent events based around the real things in
Christian,
recovery, mental health, you know, a thing based around, you know, just whatever facet that drug addiction affects. We want to be able to make our community come together and work on it together, and know and make acceptance of it, you know,
and,
make
and
sober sexy. Why?
it's still all
he's
in
Did it
going
front.
with,
work there?
he's
You
going
know,
with, do
yeah.
it, do you, man? If it, hey, do you?
Listen, we'll
I would
talk.
rock it. I will
You can have
rock
your
it
own
on my
sub line
podcast.
Yeah, we'll
of
talk. That'll be the
merch.
Beano version. There'll be product line off the Two Fluent merch, and there'll be the
Oh
Beano
yeah,
line.
that'll be great. Then we'll have like a heaven and hell separation, like a blue
Where'd
and
that come
red.
from?
I'm not saying that, but I'm
Jeez.
But do you realize how many people we could actually reach? Like, because everybody, especially this generation, no offense, but this generation is right here on that phone 24 hours a day,
Right.
7 days a week. That's how I want to reach people. If it's the way that I'm supposed to reach people, because I can't reach them out on the street, there's too many.
Yeah.
yeah.
Broadcasting things that you through music and labels and things like that. If it's about that, okay, but it's a message. It's not just a label, you know.
And you can stand behind it. You
I
you
guess
And you
stand behind
stand
your message,
behind your label.
and it's action. You're taking action by having
Yes,
Two Fluent on your podcast that you came up with. Sober Patrol is now. I
that's right.
guarantee you, at least one person's going to listen to this, and they're going to hear one thing,
no,
because
a
we,
lot
we
more
tapped
than
on a
that.
lot of different subjects, and they're going to relate to it, and
Yeah.
then they're going to want to inquire about it. You know, and that's why you're
That's
so
right.
important, and that's why it takes a team, unity,
That's
coming
all of
together.
us. Yes, unity, staying sober in unity and
I
bringing
think that
God's message. Because I couldn't have done
Absolutely.
this. I can't take none of the credit for this on my self will run right. I
Yeah.
give God the glory on my self will
I
run
had to
right.
get God first tattooed on my hand, because my dumb ass will start thinking I'm doing this.
I got the serenity prayer.
Boom. See, that's dope.
I think that one of the biggest things for all of this, like recovery, the sober patrol stuff you're talking about. I think one key thing that I would be depriving, or we would be depriving anybody from not telling them, is that like over the last 2 weeks, I've noticed that while I've been sick, the second I wake up, I think about it, and right before I go to sleep, I think about it. So if you compare anything like that to, say, mental health or drug addiction or suicidal thoughts and this and that, like I would encourage, like the last time I went to treatment, I went for, I think I was gone for like 11 months total.
Wow.
And you have to get away from it, and you have to literally give yourself time, and you have to do what is suggested, mental health meds. There's nothing wrong with mental health meds. Getting your
No.
mind right. The reason that there's a bad stigma on it is because it was placed there by the world.
Yeah.
I don't trust
Yes.
the world. So the world's going to tell me that because my mental health is a little off. Guess what? There's some of the most mentally insane people in the places you would never think.
Some of the
Right.
most kind people.
Yeah.
Some of the most
Lawyers,
kind people.
doctors, firemen, police officers. Like
Yeah, everybody struggles with mental health, and if you don't take that, like right now, I've been starting to feel a little bit better, and I'm starting to be able to think. But like when I was full on sick, I could not even think. I can't even think. I don't even know what's going on. So if you want to pair that to drug addiction and you want to pair that to mental health and all those things, that's why it takes, I believe it at least took me so long, is because I'm so sick that I just think about being sick. I don't believe that there's any option to get better.
right.
And I
It's
think
just
being
a
able to
never-ending
promote it.
cycle.
Yeah, there's a like, and obviously what we're doing now with music and everything, and
Music's the
you
thing,
know,
almost. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like there's a whole thing behind this.
Mhm.
It's not just good music. It's
Right.
music that is
The
made.
message.
Yeah, it's music that is made now because God helped us. God saved our life. We took the suggestions. We got better. We put down the drugs and the alcohol. Like there's so many levels to it, and
Started facing our problems instead of running from them.
started facing our problems like that.
And rigorous honesty. Like I
That's the
am
scariest
so
thing, though. People hate being honest.
I'm so to a fault. I'm like honest. Like it's not even funny because I'm like, did you do that? Yes, I did it. Like it's like I did it, and I own
can't
my
afford
shit.
to have something off in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like if something's off in my spirit, I feel it so intensely
Yes.
that I'm like, if I
Yes.
think I'm gonna litter, then I'm gonna think about it the rest. Like you didn't have to litter, dude. Why'd
Yes,
you
and
do
it's
that, man? You're
When
rigorous.
did
such an
you
ass.
start littering?
I don't. What I'm saying, but like say like a relationship. When I get into a relationship with somebody, I'm like, I'm like, you get a built-in honesty, dude. Like I can't
Yes.
lie. I'll do dumb lies. Like if I think maybe I'm not perfect.
Hey,
You know
wouldn't
what I
that
mean?
be funny if this whole thing, it's just an intrusive thought, I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh boy.
Wouldn't that whole thing, this whole thing that we're doing is just to end littering?
To end littering is the
You know
whole.
what I mean?
The deeper message here, guys, is use the trash cans, recycle.
Yeah, throw the trash down and pick your life up. Okay. Hey, you're like, hey, baby, you look so good. I'd love to take you out on a date, but just like none of that littering shit.
Yeah, I got a LA Littering Anonymous tonight. I'm really going to do a good lead. It's gonna be powerful.
Wow. What's in your trash bag? Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm taking it for when I get there.
Oh, that's too funny.
But like I'm serious, like seriously, I know you know what I mean. We're like,
Yeah.
we hold ourselves to a standard that we have to keep for our own self and our own program and our own peace of mind.
You've been building value for the last 3 years
Ethics,
in yourself.
Yeah.
Value. And nobody can take that away from you. Like I give it up for like back in the day they were like, oh, this guy's an AA, this guy's an AA because I didn't understand it. Or they're in recovery or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are lucky. Like if my boyfriend's watching right now, I'm going to tell him he's lucky because
You're a lucky dude.
I built myself to a rigorous, honest person.
Flat out.
And
Flat
I'm
out.
a good person. I have calibrated my moral compass again. You know.
Wow, that was pretty dope.
And we care for
I
people.
made that. That was mine. I made that up. Actually.
Yeah.
I calibrated my moral compass.
So can I?
That's when you need a button. You need to get a button that makes cool sound effects. When you say something dope like that, you're like,
No, you need one to flash on the screen that says verbal
I got
trademark.
sound effects.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah. What was it again? Say it again.
Calibrated her moral compass.
Yeah,
I'm verbally trademarking it. No, I'm just kidding.
We're making a song called either Calibrated or Moral Compass. We're gonna shout you out in it.
All right, right on.
I say we do it about a compass, but we call the song Direction.
Our church is named Compass North. Our church is called Compass
that's
North.
Cool.
Yo,
I
I'd
like
love
that.
to take you to our church. It's really cool. It's a great
Is it in Akron?
Yeah, it's in Akron. It's where I went from rehab when I was in IBH. I always believed in God, but I didn't have a relationship with him and stuff. I thought he was mad at me. But I went from IBH. The first time I left the building, because I turned myself into jail, went from jail to rehab. So the first time I left the building was to get to go to this Compass North church. And I was so vulnerable and so willing to do whatever it takes that I was seeking God so tough. And this church accepted me. I walked in, came as I am, and I felt like he was talking directly to me. You know, my pastor, Joe
Yes,
Hunt.
because
And
maybe he is.
so I was like locked in, and I'm like, oh my God, all this cool stuff keeps happening. These moments, these God shots, I call them, you know. And
Yes.
the next time, the very next week I went, I got baptized, you know. And from that point on, this church has just been a staple in my recovery and in my life. And I'm just so grateful for it, to where I go in there and everybody's so friendly. They believe in what we're doing. They know what we're doing. They said they've been praying for us and stuff. And like, and we're really about what we say. I'm really up there on that stage, leaving it all to God when they're playing their music and we're worshiping. We're up there praying, dude. We're really trying to live the best life we can, and then shout that to the world, and hopefully it helps other people, you know. But this church, man, I can't even tell you how much it's been a pillar in my recovery. And he knows too, like we we I love God and what he's done for my life, and I'm so grateful that I will never be ashamed to say it. I'll never be
Amen.
ashamed to show it. You know what I mean? And I think he knows that. And I'm not even mad at the stuff he put me through, the misery, the pain, the darkness, the hurt, because it got me to this point where I'm at, where I am
Right.
ride or die for God. And that's what I need
Period.
to be in our position. You know, and I need to go in the battlefields. I need to go in the dark places and rep God tough, to where I'm like, yo, yeah, the
I'll
devil
get the
sucks, but he ain't.
microphone woo, 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 out there in the streets,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I
To
used
the
to do
sound
bird
effect
walks.
button for that, you know?
I don't have that one, but
Hey,
Coming soon.
listen, I'm probably gonna
coming
have to
soon.
leave somewhat soon because she needs her car.
No, that's fine, you guys.
But
And it has been great having you
Yes.
guys on here.
Thank
And
you.
I want y'all to keep up the good work. I'm so proud of you. And
Hey, we're proud of you too, man. It's been a blessing since we met you, man, to like match
yeah,
someone's energy.
I've
Your
been
energy is,
following you.
you're
Yes.
on fire. We've been following you too, man. And we're making a difference out
yeah,
here.
so listen, so what's the next move then?
What's the next move?
Yeah, what's the next move?
Other than sound effects.
Other than she has
Alright.
some.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'm a simple
yeah,
man, you know?
That kind
I'm
of
a
sounded
simple
like
man.
you too, a little bit.
I don't know why I like the gun one. I
One
used to
more. Give us another gun one time.
and then it's got this. It has
The sound effect thing that I really, really like.
Wow.
That
was
sounds like
my
him when he
gosh.
gets excited.
that
Listen,
was-
I'm
don't
out
stay
of here.
away from the devil.
Stay away from the devil. Hey, that's
Yeah.
my internal dialogue right there, 23 hours of the day. Stay away from the devil.
I'm trying to get back to normal. Hold on.
What did I do? I opened the door to like,
yeah.
I'm like a child. I've got ADHD too. So
yo, you could see both of us vibing on that. We're like, yes,
Amazon.
that's dope.
I said I'm gonna start a podcast. All my girls in the sober house were like, whatever. And I'm like, can I use the office, behind the thing? And they're like, sure, go ahead, whatever.
Yeah.
1 week later, I started my own podcast in the sober
That's
house.
right.
So it's like,
That's
yeah,
right.
man.
No, I love
I've
it.
been running a year now, so like it's pretty
Dude,
cool.
I love it. It's the dreamers, the visionaries. Like, and
It
if we tell
is.
people our dreams, a lot of people are like, all right, guys, whatever. You're gonna play in front of
But you're
thousands
the
of people.
only one that can get up and do it. Can't nobody do work for you. You got to
Flat
get up
out.
and do your own work and do it for yourself. And
Flat out.
have God as your foundation. And
Yep.
it's not a coincidence that these little things happen. It's God. It's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, like
At all.
my boyfriend said, at all. It's
At
God,
all.
not all. It's not odd. It's God.
And then when we team up, man, it's like God places people and he's like, all right, now here, do your thing. And then
Yeah.
awesome things happen, and you help us, we help you, we tell them, they tell them. Next thing you know, it's like, it's a thing.
That's
It's
right.
a thing.
It's a thing.
It's
Forget
a
about it,
thing.
will you?
So
My
what's the
Italian
name of
comes
that
out
church
sometimes.
again?
What's up?
Compass
Hey,
North.
forget
North.
about it.
Yeah, forget
Compass
about
North.
it, will you?
Yep.
Forget about it, will you?
I got Italy tattooed on my back. When I was in prison, one of my first tattoos was Italy down my whole back and my last name, because I've been to my hometown and stuff. It's called Montepagano, Italy. I've been blessed enough to
nice.
go there, and like I have actual family out there, and it's crazy. And then like growing up with the Italian family, we're all really loud and we all talk with our hands, and
What do
we
you
all
mean?
I don't understand.
What do you mean?
You know how
Take
you
the God, leave the cannoli.
forget? Yeah. Oh, my grandmother made the best cannolis, man. It's crazy. So yeah. You know how to shut an Italian up, don't you?
No.
You tie their hands behind their back, and they don't know how to talk.
Yeah, listen,
Because they thought I did. Yeah.
listen, it's the truth. We have been sitting here stationary on this couch, but it has
I'm
also
so
felt.
proud of you guys.
Hey, but listen, it has also felt like a bumper car, but I don't think you can see that. No, you guys are great.
I got it all together.
Well,
Oh.
I would not jump to that conclusion, but
What do you mean?
no, Bino, he really has. I have like when I get sick, I shut down completely, and he scheduled
feel
all
it,
kinds
man.
of podcasts and all kinds of stuff for us. So
It's a
Well,
team,
thank
man.
you for being here, bro.
It's a team.
yeah,
Thank you for the opportunity, man. And
And
I
I pray that you get to feeling better, man.
listen, I thought it was in person, so I called him yesterday.
oh
and I'm
yeah,
like,
listen to this.
listen, I call him yesterday. I'm like, dude, why did you schedule a podcast the week I'm sick? I'm like, I don't want to go on there and look subpar. And we had this
I
whole
snapped back.
argument.
I snapped back.
No, listen. No, listen. We had this whole mini argument. And then at the end,
Mini
he's like,
argument.
I'm not canceling.
no,
We're not
listen.
doing it. It's gonna be a one fluent occasion then, I guess.
Listen. Oh, that would have been
No,
the
I'm kidding,
second
I'm
worst
kidding.
mistake of your life. All right. What was
Yeah.
the first one?
Thinking
about
about
it. But then I call him on the phone. I'm like, dude, listen, we got to figure something out. And he goes, well, Hunter, he's like, it's remote. And I'm like,
Yeah.
We suck. If we talk text message style, it will end badly every
we
time.
both think that
Horrible
we're coming at each
communication.
other.
He's reading it wrong. I'm reading it wrong. When really it's a
Can't
simple
hear
phone
expression
call.
in text, right?
He'll say something
He's
and
like,
I'll
you were
message.
yelling at me. I'm like, how did I yell? I was typing. He said it was all caps. I know you were yelling.
Yeah, no, that part is true. That part is true.
What?
But listen,
Would you
it's-
all caps me?
yeah. Well, he'll text me something and I'll be like, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I don't think we should do it. And immediately it's like, dude, well, listen, we're doing it this way and we're doing it. But I mean, listen, it's not like it's easy doing all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fun and it's really, really cool. But just like how God had, and I'm not comparing us to God, but I feel like when you're doing God's work, it has to be intentional. So we
Yeah.
think of things from every single aspect. It could be in the studio and I say something or he makes one ad lib sound and I'm like, hey, I don't think we should do it. And obviously there's controversy because there's creative writing differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then
Right, I get it.
at the end of it, we sit there and we listen to it, and it's like, man, that's why we changed all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little things that most people can't even notice. And like
That wouldn't.
And-
And there's 6 versions of some of
we
our
have
songs.
we have 6 different versions of this, and this. And then we finally I call him, I'm like, hey, where was the there? We need to just have it be blank with nothing. He's
Yeah.
like, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it's God is so good to where he let me do this and he let him do this with my brother. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't have it any other way to where, if I need a shoulder, I need anything, it's ride or die with him. And
Right, I
to
could
be able
feel
to
that
make
with
this
you
journey,
guys.
dude. And he's got his own style and I got my style and they just blend.
I know,
they're
and that
genuine.
is so awesome when I seen that. It's like it was like colliding 2 different styles into one music, which is really cool. And it's
A whole lot of
different. And
energy,
different is good because all the stuff starts sounding the same after a while. Your sound
Right.
is completely different with
Yeah, we don't
2 different messages.
We don't even
That's
know what we got.
dope. That's dope.
And it's the range, the spectrum of people that listen to our music because some will like this song, some will like this song, some's favorites this song, but it's reaching out. And now we have, like the one with Matt Keegan, Life I Have.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? It's just, it feels good, and
I
then
met
he's got
Matt
sing
Keegan
ones.
2 years ago. I met Matt Keegan 2
Matt's
years
great.
ago, and he was there when I won this War Horse Ink tattoo, and that's why I went and got the Lord's Prayer. But he was
Right.
there that day, and the first time I ever heard him, and the crying and stuff in his message, because we've all been there to our
Mhm.
knees, only looking up at God, because we're
He's a
at the
soldier
bottom.
for this.
We are at the bottom. Yeah, he's awesome.
And
you
couldn't
know?
be more gracious, man. He's
Yes.
working with him. We're building a solid relationship. We're actually meeting him next week to finish shooting a video for Life I Have. That's gonna drop right in the
Hey.
springtime.
My car's gonna be
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
And Matt is like, he thanked us and we thanked him. It's like us coming together because he's like, you brought out an energy in me that I haven't had like this performance we did at one of them. Actually, both of them might have been great, but like the feeling, and he's like, I didn't have that feeling in such a long time. That just energy of awesome,
Yeah.
and you know, you put
Yes.
positive and hope in the same place, and you know,
Yes.
God, and you're gonna come up with some fantastic, powerful stuff. You know,
Absolutely. And it's going to
we're
just
going on
grow
tour.
from there.
We're gonna
That's
tour with
awesome.
them.
I'm so
Really?
proud of you guys.
Yeah, recovery. We're building this like recovery thing.
No, I didn't know
I
about
know
it.
You
that
did.
me and
I
Matt
did.
talked about a recovery march once. Like,
Yeah.
like pretty much everybody that just like does the music and the podcasting, and it's just me in the middle, and we just do, or you just go out in the streets in your own town and do everybody's marching all over the U.S. It's a really cool thing,
Yeah.
but it's with the stand. But I appreciate you guys. I love your message. I
Thank you.
love your energy, your vibes. It's totally awesome. So
Thank you.
I really appreciate you not feeling well, product, but you came on anyway. So
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He probably gave it to me, and I'm gonna be the one in my bag the next week. Thanks, dude.
I'm gonna
and
be completely
and then
busy.
he's gonna have you on doing a podcast next week. because
Oh
you're
no,
not
yeah,
feeling
we're
good.
doing that one live in person on the news. Yeah.
I
I'll have
saw
to
you
check my
on the
schedule.
news, by the way. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, you
That
saw
was
that?
awesome. Yeah,
That's
I saw
another
that.
thing.
That was awesome.
Blessings like that get opened up to us, and then to have like, you know, 13 some thousand views may not seem like a lot to like big people, but for two fellas from Akron,
That's a lot.
that's a lot. And to get over 130
Brother,
some
I
shares and
understand.
like 300 likes, that's crazy, because we're talking about stuff that usually isn't like a fun thing or an acceptable thing to talk about. And so, bound from one of our conversations, we're so all over the place, you're gonna hear something and you're gonna latch
Oh,
onto it.
You're also
You know,
on
and
you're on
then
TikTok as well, just so you know. You're
Yeah.
all over TikTok on my TikTok, so
sweet,
you've gotten a lot of views there. Everybody's like,
Nice.
we
I've been
mean it,
getting
man.
message like, "Who is that?" And like,
Hey,
"Whoa, who is that?"
whoa. We mean it,
Whoa,
and you can tell, and people are starting to really see that, and that's why this is growing so much, is because we match in person who we
Yeah.
are on the music, who we are in a podcast. We
Right there.
really want to have people meet God. We want people to get out of that dark place, and you know, we're not perfect. We don't know. We're just trying to do the best we can day by day. But like we are passionate. We're real, and you can't fake
I
this
know you
stuff.
are.
You
No,
know, and you are
y'all
too.
were
And
just as real as in person when I met you with green hair as you are right now.
thank you. Thank you very
But
much. That means a lot.
I love you, my brothers, and
Love you too.
Alrighty.
God bless, and thank you so much.
If you ever
And
need
we'll
anything,
definitely,
reach out. Anything, we're here. You
definitely.
know,
Oh, we're gonna all get together. We're gonna do this
cool.
thing.
Absolutely.
All right. Good night
Hey,
or
see
good
ya.
afternoon.
See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
Too fluent.
That's right.